champagne or rum, but she's success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne.
Yay! We are live. We're live. Is the show live? Yes, of course, Tracy. Our last show is live. I never go to LinkedIn to make sure we are actually going. So I'm excited. I'm always excited, though. You know what I'm like, people. I'm excited because Elaine is here, and we have Elaine's topic to discuss. She's a specialist, right? So I can relax. That's the beauty of my life, right? So let me stop talking. Let's get you to meet Elaine first of all. Then at least that way you can begin to understand, why she's such a genius and why we can all benefit from learning from her. Elaine, please welcome to Annie's World. Of course, I know you've been as a audience member before, right?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
clearly?
I can perfectly.
Excellent. Hi to your community out there in the world, your 40 million contacts.
I wish. I'm still working on that.
Okay. We all are. Thank you so much for having me here. And a genius, no, but expert, yes. Someone said to me the other day, "Oh, you're like a jack of all trades." I'm like, "Well, I've lived a long time, so if you've lived a long time and you don't have a lot of things that you've done in your life, you better get caught up. You have a lot of catching up to do." So, hi, everybody. I'm Elaine Jackson. I am a project manager living in Massachusetts. Have a business called Holistic PMC. And what we do is training, consulting, public speaking events to raise the awareness of how to do project management better, how to help project managers achieve success on their projects, and how to meet the requirements. And so it is a pleasure to be here. This presentation isn't only for project managers. You can apply it to your industry. But I met maybe a month ago, and I was like, what is this guy talking about? And then sometimes you have to sit still and let information come to you. And I saw the value of what he was bringing to his network. And I said, you know what? I want to be part of that. So here I am today talking about the human approach in project management, the human approach in communicating on your job, things that happen on your job. And some of you have had a great week. I want you to put it in the chat. If you've had a great week, thumbs up. So a 6 will be a thumbs up. And then, if it's not good, you can put a 9. That would be like a thumbs down. But everybody's had some kind of week. And it's good at the end of the week to sit back and just say, hey, I did good or I didn't do good. How can I plan to do better come Monday?
Yeah, I love that. So of course, there is our week has been right. Our week is still going for some. From my weekends tonight, my friends, this is my subtle hint to you. My subtle hint. Look, the good things are happening. LinkedIn and StreamYard are talking again. They haven't talked until now. They didn't talk earlier on today, so I'm glad you're here. My YouTube friends, please do like the video, comment, subscribe. I love. We need engagement on LinkedIn, on YouTube as well, especially. That said, let me turn my YouTube on. Elaine, are you subscribed to my YouTube channel?
No, I don't think so. I will do that after. I prefer not to multitask because multitask, this whole thing might just go away. So
It might just go away anyway, right? It might just suddenly fall apart anyway. So you might as well multitask and do what you have to do.
No, I when it comes to technologies, it's don't push all the buttons because that's when the craziness happens. So look at a lot of the people had a good week. Oh, the Damaya, that
Yeah, yeah.
Diama is a thumbs down. Oh, I wish I could give you a hug and help you to feel better. Some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, you're going to be laughing. So be prepared. Um, Sometimes in life, sometimes things may seem like they're bad, and you just like you may want to scream, but then sometimes you're like, let me just have a good laugh and get to the other side of it. So if you've had a crazy week, a week that's less than what you had planned for, this is going to this is going to make up for it. Okay. And
Excellent.
you're going to leave this call feeling so good. I promise you.
Yeah, yeah, no, amazing. Look, superstar Natalie's here. Welcome, Nat. Natalie is the one who helps us with our comments, our best of times. If you're not up to it, Natalie, I'm all right. You're here. That's what's important to me for sure. So my friends do get to get to connect with Elaine. I want her to know what a good community we are. Because it's her first show with us. So I want her to do more clearly, right? So let's give her a great experience today. That way she remembers us. If when other good people come along, she's like, no, I'm sticking with Annie's group. Yeah, excellent. Annie's community is always the best. We're small, but we are caring and we support each other. That's the beauty of what the people I have in my
That's
network.
great.
So it gives me joy. Well, also, you're part of that as well, Elaine. Don't pretend you're some sort of stranger to it. You're part of this.
Oh no. I am people accuse me of never going to sleep. That's a good thing.
I agree. Are you really nocturnal? Are you really a night person? Are you a
I
night
am.
owl?
I am.
Excellent.
I am.
Excellent.
When the whole world is asleep, I have so much energy. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I get a lot done. A lot done. And then when everyone's waking up, I go to sleep. I'm like a vampire. I'm assuming. Yes.
I totally agree with you. I'm always up at night. I love working at night because, like I say, it's quiet. Everyone goes to sleep, and I'm like, I don't get responses back to anything, to my emails, to my DMs. I say anything. That's not true. Now, once I started making American friends, they respond round the clock. It's like, stop responding.
So I want to make sure people understand what we are covering today, because I
Yeah, yeah.
don't want anyone to think that this is like a comedy show, even though there's going to be.
It's always a comedy. So any
It's
shows
not
are
a comedy show, even though I believe in another life I was a comedian. Some of the stuff I come up with, I'm like, and I took a public speaking, not public speaking, but a stand up comedy course. And I was
good.
laughing at my own jokes that I fell onto the floor and I couldn't finish the presentation. The joke was stuck inside of me. So I have to try when I give a joke not to
Mm.
get into the laugh, because I really enjoy my own jokes.
No, give me a second, then I'll give you the mic to. Now, first of all, tell us what you really do, how you help, and then tell us
Yes.
what we're here for, and then let's kick off. So give me. I like to welcome everyone personally. Of course, Tracy,
Yes.
welcome. I'm gonna share my YouTube link with you in a second, Tracy. I'm trying to. No, I found it. So I'm glad. Now, Tracy is the one who does our audiobooks. Of course, I do audiobooks too, but she's done a lot
Awesome.
more than me. So definitely one
Okay.
you want to get to know. Who do I see as well? Kenny, Super Kenny is here as well. I call him Sugar Daddy Kenny because he is also about sugar and treats, sweets. I've got a new cake for tomorrow, Kenny. You
Hi,
never guess
Kenny.
it's a cheesecake, Kenny. It's a cheesecake, right? Like Kenny
No,
is.
gummy bears. I'm into gummy bears. That's what I like.
I'm keeping quiet deliberately for a reason. I'll tell you why I'm keeping quiet on Monday, my friends. No, but leave it for now. Leave it for now. Let it
Oh,
go. Let it go. Yeah,
oh.
my friend Selena is here. Welcome, Selena. So we are working on our health anthology. So I should grab her bank account details for the
Hi,
contract.
Selena.
So now, we're writing a book about how we survived that cheated death. Now, she's a cancer survivor, so we really want to know how do we survive real illness. So Tracy, I've just shared my YouTube channel. So please go and like it, subscribe to it. So now like the video to comment, say something in words, and then enjoy. Now click on more videos, please. Who else do I see? Super Linda's here as well. Welcome, Linda. Yolanda, how you doing? I spend most of my days with Yolanda, by the way. That's not most of my days, many hours of my days with Yolanda, because we're writing her book. The book's coming along nicely, so I'm excited. You get to read it sometime soon, right? So Linda's all the way in Canada. I always said, hopefully I'm right. I could be wrong. I do get it wrong sometimes. Kenny, I'll do you the honor, Kenny. Kenny says, my homemade sweet potato cheesecake is so delectable, scrumptiously, deliciously, edibly tasty good. Yes, that's Kenny for you, right? I expect more of that today, Elaine. So Elaine, talk to us now. Who are you? What do you really do? How do you help? I know we'll probably be about 5 minutes for you to tell us all the things you do, right?
5 minutes? I will try in 5 minutes to give a little summary. So I initially, little backstory, I have a degree in biology, was supposed to go to medical school, then AIDS came along, and I was like, I don't think I want to be exposed to stuff like that. And sometimes you look for excuses. And that was my way of making an excuse, and I should not have. My parents should have said, no, we spent enough money on you, get the hell back in that school, finish up that degree. So anyway, got the degree in biology, and then moved into biological research, cancer research, breast cancer research, and things like that in New York at Einstein College of Medicine. And then from there, ended up married, had a kid, ended up in tech, working for which was called at that time Digital Equipment Corporation. Some of you may remember that organization. And from there, I just stayed fast working the event planning and the tech area to the point where I started to go into project management. So it was from there that I started my business. I realized I needed a business because all the jobs were going to India. But what was funny about the jobs going to India, they weren't sending the people who did the work here to India with their jobs. They would take the jobs away from individuals here in the US and then say, your job, you no longer have a job. So I decided at that point to start doing training in the corporations. And that went very well for a really long time. People needed the certifications. I don't know how many of you know about the curve of innovation. So in the beginning, right, there's the early adopters. And so those are the people who maybe a new phone is coming out and they're willing to wait all night standing out in the cold so they get the first phone. Even if it's broken, they can show off they have the first phone. Then there's the early adopters. So I had decided I want to be in something where I am either an innovator or in the early adopters. Why? Because in those phases, that's when people watch and they come running saying, here's my money. I want to be part of that. And so I said, I want to be in that group of people that offer something. So what I'm doing right now is offering AI training, offering AI, as you well know, artificial intelligence, offering PQ, which is positive intelligence training, added to my project management. So when you are an entrepreneur, you find a way to take everything you've done, put it in a ball of wax and make it homogeneously work so that you then now can offer something that's different from everyone else. And that's what I have been doing with my training, my public speaking, the certification, and also currently doing ESL, which is English as a Second Language. I attend a Brazilian church. Majority of the individuals do not speak English. And now my pastor has told me there's a new law coming out that anyone that does not speak English cannot get a driver's license. The driver's licenses will now be revoked from all the people who do not speak English. That's going to be big. So I'm now in the space of revitalizing my skills as an ESL instructor. And there's a couple of other things that I'm doing, but where I help is helping people to realize the strengths and skills that they have so that when they're in the workplace, they can gain better recognition, more respect, be able to qualify for raises and promotions. And that's what it's really all about, getting the respect in the workplace so that your manager or management of the organization says, hey, this woman or this man, they're doing a great job. We should keep them. Not let's cut heads. Oh, Joe and Jane, you no longer have a job. And so I'm going to yield to you, Annie, and let you or your audience and let them ask questions. Oh, Kenneth, I'm not laughing at you. You're so cute. I saw your picture. You're cute. No, I thought it was funny. I do sweet potato pies. I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie. If you ever want pictures of some of my food, just send me a note, man. I can do it up.
Don't take Kenny too seriously. So Kenny, he does talk about food all the time. Of course, now we know he has a degree in biology as well. So welcome, Kenny. So again, thank you for joining us. Dr. Lisa, I call her Dr. Lisa. I should argue that she's not a doctor, but she's pretty close to being a doctor. She's a specialist on menopause and andropause, and maybe also now holistic health and well-being. So welcome. What do you say? Thank you for the reminder, Kenny and Natalie. After Andy sent me his reminders. Yes, all three today. Just make sure you're here, Lisa. To make sure you're here. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for spending time with us. Chanel, I see you as well, my friend. Glad you're here. So all the way from India. So thank you for being here. So look, we want this to be engaging, to be interactive. So Elaine's going to ask you some questions as we go along. So please do respond, to give us some of your ideas. And of course, if you have questions of your own you want to ask, just put them in the comments. Better still, join the studio and speak, right? Jay, our storytelling strategist. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us, spending your Friday evening with us. See, as I told you, Elaine, these people they're not drunk yet. They might get a bit drunk later on. You never know, right? It's Friday night.
They'll get drunk. Don't get drunk. After.
Yeah.
So I do have a question. I have a question for the audience. So we're talking about behaviors in the workplace. We're talking about sometimes bad behaviors in the workplace. So give me, put in the chat some of the topics, some of the words that you feel apply to negative behaviors in the workplace. And this doesn't mean anything about you. It's just how, when you think of negative behaviors, put it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. Give you an example. Gossiping.
Is that a bad thing?
Is gossiping bad or is it good? I guess if you're doing it, it's good. If it's being done about you, it's bad, right? Gossiping. How about gossiping? Nobody understands gossiping. So let's try another one. How about backstabbing? Anyone? Micromanaging. That is big in the workplace, right? Especially when you know what you're doing, but your manager wants to lean over you and control how you do it. So you say, hey, if you want to do the job, here it is. Yeah, Tracy, thank you. Micromanaging. Anything else?
Oh.
What are some of the other terms? Affairs. Somebody talked about having affairs in the workplace. That's important. That's important, Jay. I mean, somebody may be saying, oh, what is that about? There are people, negative behaviors. Thank you, Dr. Chris. Yeah. So having affairs in the workplace.
Who's this one? Is this Cristiano? I think it's Cristiano speaking next. No, I've got
having an affair. Yeah, stealing others' work. Excellent. Having affairs in the workplace interferes with your ability to. That's why sometimes they have it in the agreement that you do not have relationships with each other at work.
Yeah,
it's important. That is important because you need to stay focused on the work, or having fights. You bring the fight from home into the workplace. That's totally not good. Harassment.
So Annie, I see you. So Annie, I see you. I do see you. So now there's lots of things, right? Now, dishonesty, disrespect, bullying, backstabbing, being two-faced. Many things.
Thirsty
Many,
people. What is thirsty people?
I heard this yesterday. I think it's
It,
people who are over keen, people who
like
are
needy is
yeah,
thirsty, needy.
yeah. And that's
Wow.
very similar. I think that's
Well,
the same
the
from.
thing is, why would somebody be thirsty? Why would they be needy? Is it because they're not properly trained? So then they turn around and interrupt your work by asking you to do their work for them or to help them.
Oh, I mean, they can be too keen. People can be too keen. As my young son always says, you're doing too much. So so that they can paint you as being, it's a good thing and a bad thing if you look at it in that way. Like where some
Okay.
people might think, is you're too keen, but all you're doing is just being enthusiastic and being keen. Is that a crime? I don't think that's a crime, right? There's more people here. So I spend my days welcoming people. Thank goodness. I love welcoming more people. Nepotism is that sticking with your family, right? Giving your
Yeah,
family.
hiring
Right.
only your family.
Mm.
There are some companies like that they hire only people who are from their culture and
Mm.
nobody else qualifies.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
No, so
and it's important to have a mix of people from all different cultures because people bring the varied support, various levels of help into
but
the
but but,
project.
but here's a confusion. Not confusion. Here's I guess a point of conversation in terms of sometimes, as Selena says, husband and wives work together. Not always in the best of moods. Not always in the best of relationships. I'm saying if they argue at home, they might bring the argument to work, for example. So now, so what's your
Exactly.
that fits into your idea? So Annie says lying. So Annie, welcome. Annie's my sister. So people who lie, and I suppose there's different levels of lying, isn't there? There's lying, telling untruths, but that can extend to leadership where someone takes credit for your work.
Well, yeah, I think Dr. Christine said something about that.
Mm.
Hiring from the church. Well, the thing is, the bottom line is someone has to be qualified to take the job. So if someone's unqualified, what are some of the things that happens when somebody's not qualified to take a job? Put it in the chat. You hire someone, they're not qualified. What do you think happens when it comes time to give the report, to give the deliverables, to show that they've done the work? There's nothing to show. Or they harass others and you're like, oh, whatever. And then you do their work and then your work is late. And then your work is late. And so what happens on project teams, you hire the right people to do the right work. And if somebody's not able to do their work, then what happens is the team suffers, the project suffers, and who gets let go? The project manager, because the project manager is responsible for everything on the project.
Yeah.
Agree? Do we
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah. The question's gone out, of course. What happens when you hire the wrong people to do the work? Like you say, I think, of course, the work doesn't get done the way we want it done, to the right standards normally, right? Yeah.
Well, standard. Well, all of that should be ironed out in the beginning. When you have a project, you set out what are the objectives. You have your expectations, you have your code of conduct. In project management, we have a way of writing into the charter the behaviors, the expectations, the deadlines. Everything should be ironed out. So when
Yeah.
it's not ironed out, what happens is it's left up to everybody's interpretation of what they think done is. It's important to get from the customer when is done. When can we say this project is done? And if you don't do that, they'll be like, I don't know, keep going, I don't know. And then you end up over delivering. And then when you over deliver, you feel upset. You feel sort of messed up because somebody's getting way more than what they paid for. And you're starting to get angry because you're overworked, you're being taken advantage of. But had you ironed out those requirements in the very beginning and had somebody assigned to looking at the requirements, looking at the status of the work, are we delivering what we should at this point? Are we ahead or behind on the schedule? Are we over delivering? Why are we over delivering? Who authorized over delivery of the objectives of the project?
I mean, you don't get paid for over delivering, do you? You don't get paid for doing more than you have, more than you promise, unless you want to delight the customer in your own good time, right?
Well, the thing is, the customer didn't ask for that. Sometimes, they may say they may do what we call scope creep, and they ask for a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit. Next thing you know, you've given them unbelievable extra amount of work for nothing. And that is why you have to keep watching the project. So even if you're not in project management, you should have a way of knowing, the end of the project, when you started, where should you be halfway through the project? Where should you be 25% of the project? Where should you be? What should you have achieved? And if you haven't achieved those objectives at that point, why? What is wrong? Is this project going to finish on time, or did you already run out of money and now you're just taking money from other projects to fund the project that's already failed?
Mm.
So, Annie, can you see how this? Everybody, can you see how this? The analogy that I use is the hip bone is connected to the leg bone. The leg bone is connected to the ankle. Everything is connected. I think
Indeed.
somebody wants to have a comment.
Yeah, well, Michael's here, so that cheers me up. Mr. Calm, as we call him. Now, let me welcome Tracy. Now, I'm hoping these are your friends for sure.
I don't know, Tracy, but you end up with the burden of doing the work. Sometimes, as the project manager, many times you don't want that project to fail. So you're going to do whatever it takes, stay up. I used to work a project where 20 hours and only get 4 hours of sleep, 3 to 4 hours of sleep.
I said, and Dr. Chris says, no, you get qualified, which is least of poor decisions, lack of real skills, imbalance of power.
Imbalance of the power. So, tell me more about that, Dr. Chris, the imbalance of power, because the power resides with leadership. Sometimes we think as project managers we have power, but when we ask questions for requirements that we need, we're told no. So that means we really have no power unless we ask for those who have more power to yield to us. Yeah. Right?
That's deep, right? Selena says, I worked with 2 sets of husbands and wife, and they were friends. So much favoritism, but they ended up talking behind each other's backs, which was horrible. Yeah, I call this office politics.
Yeah, and when you mix love and work and money, sometimes tempers flare. Tempers flare and people get angry, and who knows what happens. There used to be you come into a company, you have to show a badge and to get into the base. Why do you think they did that? Because people's husbands was coming right in, to see who was messing with his wife. Come right into the office, come right into the company, go right up in the building and going after the guy. So
how embarrassing can that be? I'm saying, was it really happening? And if it wasn't happening, it just shows paranoia, right? It just shows, I don't know, I can't think of anything worse. Accusing your wife of having affairs, even though you're in the same company, because you are triggered by something.
But you know what? Some women know the kind of husband or boyfriend they have, and they still push that button, allowing him to think that somebody else is in the picture, or they do have somebody in the picture and they put that guy at risk. It's not, you may think it's funny. Oh, he's showing he cares about me. He's going to beat that guy up. Well, he might end up in jail.
It's very unprofessional as well. It's just, it's not a look. It's not a look that I want to have.
Chances are you could get fired because you're part of some big fight going on that has nothing to do with the company, and other people could get hurt.
Yeah.
So when we talk about toxicity in the workplace, a lot of it comes from um, doing what they call ghosting individuals. So if you're on a project and you have to deliver a presentation, this is one of the things that one of my clients, he talks to me about, that he has been on a project where he has to give a presentation and people in the audience um, ask him questions that have nothing to do with the presentation. Technical. Do you know how to fix so and so? Do you know how to create the so and so funnel? Like things that he has no idea. So then when he says no, they're like, and making it look like he's stupid. And so what we are working on, what I do with individuals in public speaking, is I help them to work on strategies when they are on projects, when they have to do presentations, how to address that kind of behavior. Is to immediately say, excuse me, that has nothing to do with this meeting, and I'd like for you to hold the questions till the end. When people sabotage your presentation, when you are supposed to be in control and others try to take the control, it says, sorry, but this, I'm up here right now and I'm the one speaking. Next week is your turn. So you can wait for your turn. Okay, Bobby, sort of do whatever you need to do to lower them in a peg, because you need to get the attention away from them and to yourself.
I'm muting myself. Sorry. So, oh, my screen just moved. That's Annie's amazing comment. My friends, you can't join the studio to share. Don't be shy, right? You can have your
Hi,
camera on.
Helena. Helena is calling in from Africa. Hello. Thank you for staying up. Managers insecurity.
Yeah.
Those of you here that are managers know that this is not a dig on managers. Managers need training too. No one is born with so to say, a silver spoon in your mouth. Nobody's born with, oh, I know everything to do. You need training. We all need training. So it's important to understand, especially if you're dealing with a diverse community, you're dealing with people that are very young in the workplace and people who are about ready to retire, or people who have no intentions of retiring, but maybe you think they should vacate their seat. Sometimes it's good to check your own biases. It's really important in the workplace for things to go well. You have to collaborate. You have to find a way to be inclusive of others. And if it is the project or the business unit is excluding individuals because they only want a group of young people, so afterwards we can go partying. I know of some teams that they had team meetings, and afterwards, for those of you that are underage, cover your ears, but they went to strip bar. Went the strip bar and lap dancing happened. And I'm
So,
like, do you understand the legalities of that? For somebody to then come back 2 weeks later and say they felt offended and they're going to sue. Who are they going to sue? I mean, that is totally inappropriate behavior.
you know what, Elaine? I dislike meetings anyway, but team meetings are the worst. Of course, I have team meetings in my business because when I got staff, right? But they are essentially 15 minutes long, or half an hour at most, and it's me talking to my team. I don't really let them speak. I don't want to know your problems. I don't care, right? But those days after work parties, after work drinks, damn, they're the worst. I don't do any of that stuff. I got families to go and spend time with. I don't want to spend time with my colleagues beyond what I have to. But here's my question to you. Especially in relation to our topic today. Where is the line? Where is the boundary? We're talking about human-centered leadership, right? Talking about the case for human connection. Where does the project manager draw the line in terms of the friendships, the relationships with their team, with their staff?
It all starts with the project charter. Actually goes even further than that. That person's own moral compass, their degree of ethics. Now, the company has their own ethic policies, and they have you every year review it and sign off. Anyone on this call that says they've never had to read an ethics policy with their company, I think they're lying. Either that, or they are working for their own company and they never set a policy in place. Okay, so when you ask about where you draw the line, if it is that you are an immoral person, that you like to do whatever you want to do and do it to whomever in the workplace, if you feel like it, there is no line. But there has to be a line drawn by the company. And then for you as a employee of that company, you should have your own degree of what it is you're willing to tolerate or not tolerate. And in the workplace, that's no place for dating and doing what I consider immoral behavior. Going to a strip club, you could never find me doing that. Never.
Yes.
The person that did that, I was like, "Do you understand what door you just opened?" And she was like, "No, that's like family. Who goes to a strip club with family?" I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
I think that's why I asked the question, because I'm all for. I'm not really. I'm all for building relationships with your team, being friends with, making friends in business, right?
Right.
No, but I think, but there has to be a limit. So there has to be a line that we don't want to cross unnecessarily.
Well, well, one of the things that happens, I don't know in the UK or in other countries or wherever, but I know in the US when you invite somebody to your home, sometimes they feel some kind of in their mind when they meet you at work, they have this picture of how they think you live. And then you invite them to your home and they see all the stuff you have, and then they become jealous or angry, or they start to become not so happy about you because they think now you have way more than they do.
Yeah, no, I mean, it happens. It happens all the time. So look, let's talk to Mr. Calm and Tracy. That's
Okay.
it. Them in the studio. So welcome, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who wants to go first? Martin, Mr. Calm, please. You've unmuted,
Uh,
so I'll let you go.
please let Tracy go first, and then
Excellent. I know you're a gentleman, my friend. You're a proper gentleman, right?
thank you very much.
Tracy, ladies first, says Mr. Calm. Please, we'll give you the mic, Tracy. Please unmute.
Hello,
How,
Lily.
how
Hello,
are you?
Lily.
It's been a minute, as my friends would say, right? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great to see you. Great to have you in the studio as well. Now, welcome, welcome. I always love your background. I mean, that's lively, right? But talk to us. Project management. Now, what's your take? Being humans, being more, making more of a human connection without overstepping the mark. Do you have a question, or do you have something to share with us?
I was listening to Elaine for a little bit, and then I had to drive out, so I missed part of it. But I came back right um, on time. I heard Elaine was talking about companies that don't have guidelines, don't have policies spelled out. They do run a risk that there are boundaries if they don't set it ahead of time. At the time of employment, they will have lots of trouble later on. Consensus, common sense are not so common anymore because this workforce is very diverse, multi generational, different cultural backgrounds, different education level. You really cannot expect people agree on one thing. They might be understanding at different levels in order to avoid that company policies, guidelines are definitely need to be in place. Code of conduct is a must. So I agree to that 100%. Project management, everything is a project, right? From personal lives to professional journeys. I think planning is one thing, and implementation is the other. Hope these two things can align perfectly, but we don't live in a perfect world. I think there's always going to be plan B, sometimes even plan C in place. So that's my quick 2 cents here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. So in between the implementation and the planning, I guess, is the relationships. It's the people. People actually going to do this stuff, right? That's the dilemma we're trying to speak to today. But no, thanks for sharing, Tracy. Go on, Elaine. I wonder what you think.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tracy. Someone said in the chat that when it's after hours, the rules don't apply. Oh my God, I never thought of that. That's horrible to think that someone would think they can do the rules, the ethics, everything's out the window. We're gonna have a party and we can do whatever we want. That's not
strip club. No, Elaine. No, we can't be like that, right? As leaders, we must have a sense of our values, and like you said, there's rules in a company that we must adhere to. They apply not just when we're at work, right? They apply constantly. They apply at all times. Otherwise, there's boundaries, right? They have to be there's boundaries that we have to maintain as leaders. Go on, please carry on.
Yeah, there is, and someone mentioned after hours is not business related. I don't know. I don't like if you go to someone's house and it's not related to the business. Can you do whatever you want? I guess so. I'm just feeling that you're looking at that person as your coworker.
Yeah,
come on. I'm just not seeing that.
Looking at, I suppose it's a perspective. We can't cure all of them. So I'm intrigued now. Tracy was talking about, I guess, the plan and implementation. I think that you mentioned something to do with training as well. Kenny says, I'm a manager. I've done in the training. I manage myself. If you manage yourself, my friend, that's okay. But if you manage a team, Kenny, you have to learn about many things, project management itself. I always say you have to manage the project, and then you have to manage the people, and you have to manage the business of the project as well, because you have resources that you have to somehow work with. Otherwise, you can't deliver, right? But it's a thought, Kenny. If you manage yourself, you can. I guess you have more freedom. I'm not sure if you do this, but I think that speaks to one of our limitations, Elaine, where we have this bad habit of promoting those who do well in their tasks to managers. Some companies, everyone's a manager. It's like, damn, who's in control? Who's in charge? Who's responsible for anything? No one is, right? We can't be that way. We can do better than that. We have to. Jeremy, I see you. He says it's hot out. Kenny, invite appreciated. Thanks, Kenny. I always appreciate you, Kenny. I know greatest respect for you. Dentist, welcome. My also friend dentist, and she's a real dentist as well. So I'm so glad you're here. I say, Anya says, separate your personal life from your professional life. When you're at work and your friends, you leave that friendship at the door. If you can do that, great, right? So, if you can be great friends, like the husband and wife's thing we talked about earlier, then leave your problems at the door, leave your affection maybe at the door. Even that, will learn to love your colleagues the same way as you love your other half, right? Which is hard. But
I don't know. How do you do that? I've seen on movies where the husband and wife work together and the wife walks by and the guy smacks the wife on the bum. Come on now. How do you separate that? I'm just not seeing how husband and wife can work side by side unless it's in the home. and you have a home business, it's different. But when you work for a corporation, I think that the lines get blurred. The
For
lines get
sure.
blurred.
For sure. Look, this is the dilemma. Now, some people would love different setups. Some people would love the freedom, and as Annie's saying, I guess we tend to have boundaries that we set, right? And so within being friends, but the danger I've seen, Elaine, is that when you blur those boundaries, or when you become too friendly, it's very hard to focus on the deliverables. When things are not done, how do you bring the work back on track? Because now you can't really sack a friend because they're a friend of yours, right? You can't really discipline them because they're a friend of yours. So but there has to be a limit. There has to be boundaries. Have I drunk with my managers? Of course I have. Have my staff drunk with me? No. Yeah, sorry. Who said that? I did. There has to be, right? As soon as you get to that level of leadership, I think your colleagues know that things have changed. They know that even though you're their friend, there's now a separation because now you have different. Your focus as a manager, as a leader, has to be on delivering the business side. And unless someone else is also on that level, they're thinking of other things. Which is not delivering. It's more about what can they do? When can they go for a break? When can they do stuff, right? How much time can they have off? When can they go shopping at your time and on your money? So I'm well aware of what I'm saying. There has to be that line, otherwise you can't control anything. That's just my thoughts. Again, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. And I say Jeremy says, poverty mindset leads to a jealous mindset. So true, Jeremy. So true, right? I think humans are just humans. Humans do what humans do. So Linda says ghosting is a form of harassment. Yeah. Well, Elaine, I'll let you comment on that because in business, you can't really ghost people, can you?
It happens. So it happens when possibly someone who's running the meeting is a person of color, black or brown individual, and they ask for engagement. How many people have done their assignment? Nobody answers. You've been on calls like that, and it's not even race generated. It is that maybe a team of people have decided to have their own little meeting, whether in the men's room or they had the meeting the night before, and who does she think she is? Oh, well, tomorrow, when she asks the question, don't answer because I'm not answering. Who does she think she is? Then they have this little posse where you say, you go into the room, you think everything is fine. You're all ready with your reports and you start to ask questions and nobody answers. Or you send out a note to the team and say, everybody, please get back to me by 8 a.m. with your reports. 8 a.m., no reports. The project is supposed to kick off at 9 a.m. You have nothing from the team. And the 8:59, somebody sends you something and it has errors, defects, problems in it. And you can't fix something that quick with the customers on site. And so the issue is that sometimes there are individuals that do that. And so you have to be, as a manager, strong enough to say, hey, we have a problem here. How are we going to deal with this? Are you going to leave? Are you planning on leaving the company? Do you want to leave today? And sometimes that's like, whoa, wait a minute. I was playing a game, but I wasn't playing it like to that point.
You're fired, is what I say. Take your coat and leave. Don't come back tomorrow. It sounds harsh. But Elaine, I think it comes down to, again, this human connection that we have with people, right? If I don't mind errors, I don't mind mistakes, I don't mind late. We have to put up with many things because our team are human, right? But intentional gameplay, no. I refuse. I don't tolerate intentional gameplay because it costs me money, it costs me customers, and I'm very harsh. If someone's playing a game, I play the game. They say, look, there's only one person that has to be here. Maybe two people. There's three things that might have to exist despite this conversation, right? It's called the business, number one. Number two, the customer. And number 3, it's me. Notice that that person, the employee in the team, are not part of that, right? That some will say I'm being mean. Some will say I'm heartless. But I'm so clear, and I will literally fire people. It's not the task. It's the attitude that does me in, that kills me. That just literally I can't. If I see you disrespecting me and my business, I'll act as I have to. You have to leave.
Yeah, but sorry to interrupt you, but what if you're the person that's having issues with people and you don't even know you're treating people very poorly? I'm not saying you would do it. You're a lovely man.
No. I can accept. I'm not infallible, right? I'll take it. Maybe the question is to you, Elaine. Because I don't know what the answer is. I guess it's my business. If you don't like it and you don't think I'm doing it right, I'll give you a choice. Leave. Yeah, leave.
Okay, that's fair.
What's a better answer from your side, Elaine?
I think that number one, it could be a miscommunication, some error in miscommunication. Oh, I thought you said this, but you said that. I thought you said, hey, let's go to dinner. And when I got there, the whole team was there. And I thought you meant you and me. It's like, oh, what part of you and me did you think? That there is no you and me. Sometimes women misunderstand men's clues and men misunderstand. So it's always reminding the team, hey, guys, I want to remind you that we have a no fraternization policy. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but if it is that there's some mix up and you guys start with anything, we're going to fire both of you. Some companies, that's what they do. They fire both the individuals. They get rid of them right away. Yeah, so getting rid of people, but I think that when you have a team and there's some miscommunication, something, rather than get rid of them and get a new team, you're going to still run into that same bottleneck. So let's say, what is the problem? Why is it that, we're being overworked and we haven't had a relaxation day? Sometime Friday afternoons, we like to play like tennis or virtual games or sometimes the team has to have a time when they get away and do something together, to exercise, do exercises like maybe do Lego. Sometimes there's some Lego things where you show how you're collaborating by building things together. There are a lot of toys and things out there that you can employ with the team. But I would not immediately get rid of them. But if there's a behavior pattern and you have to give people a first warning, verbal, then the warning where you put it in their HR file, then you bring HR. There's a protocol. Because if you just take someone and fire them, they're going to say, you fired me because I know I worked for a company where a guy was going through a sex change. He said he was going through sex change so he could keep his job. He figured that the company would try and fire him. So he said he wasn't going through it, but he just said that so he could hold on to his job another 2 years or so.
I suppose, Elaine, here's my thoughts on that. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Calm. The rules are more and more cumbersome in a big company. I think that people need to bear in mind. I know when we have this sort of conversations, especially when it involves people and people management, HR, I always remind whoever's talking about it that in a small company, you haven't got those processes. And in a big company, there's redundancy, Elaine. There's other people who can do the job right. In a company like my company, if you don't do it, I have to do it. And if you tell me to pay you again, I keep paying you. I might give you a chance, but I doubt it. Once I know that you're disrespectful, that you're playing a game, I'm already decided if I decide I'm going to sack you, I'll sack you. If not today, next week. If not next week, are you with me? Once I mentally resign myself to you're not staying, you will go, whether you like it or not. Yes, you can try and get me done, through the the tribunals and so on. So in the UK, that's what we have, right? But I know I make sure I can defend myself. But I hear you. You know, I think you're dead right. We must have a, you know, we must have a document trail that shows pattern of behavior. We must show that we're giving people opportunities. We must show that we've done retraining and offer them a chance to learn and improve. You know, but deep down, you know, so even when I employ people, Elaine, I tell them straight away on day one, either I can see you here in 5 years' time, I can't see you here. I can't see you here in 5 years' time. No one survived that long. Let me tell you that for nothing, right? No matter how good they are, because they're human, and yeah, only three things live: the customers, and the business. So they always leave, Elaine. They always go in the end, even not because
okay.
It sounds harsh, but in a small business, you have to be a lot more attentive. I think
That's fine, but I think the bottom line is if that's your policy, then you have it written. You have it written that says, if at any time you violate blah blah blah, it will be immediate dismissal. I think you just need to write it out and then do it. Instead of playing around, I'm going to fire you. Then they turn around and mess up all your files, delete critical information, and you know they come back at you. The thing is, if they're not performing, and we have this policy in the U.S. is the right to hire and the right to fire. They can fire you for whatever reason. Oh, you wore that red dress. I don't like you in red. You know, I mean, they don't say that, but they can make up whatever they want, which I don't particularly like that policy because somebody could be doing a great job and someone does the backstabbing thing. Somebody mentioned backstabbing, you know, it just, you know, I saw my husband looking at her at the Christmas dinner. I don't like her. My husband likes her. Yeah, we're gonna get rid of her.
I hear you. You know, look, we frame it under gross misconduct. That's always our the employees get that clause.
What did you say? Gross conduct?
Misconduct.
What's that? Like bad behavior?
Doing something that's so egregious that you've broken all the rules and I just can't have you around. That's always that's gonna be my excuse in the tribunal. You know,
I don't even want to think what that is.
You can prove that. Again, I'm being very clear. You know, the skills thing is one thing. I think, you know, and even some personal characteristics there's something else, right? But ignorance, willful, I guess, willfully trying to disrupt my business and take the mickey out of me is unforgivable. I can't forgive it, and that's why some people leave after a day. I'm like, don't come back tomorrow. You know, let me give you an example. You know, that way you don't think I'm a total. I'm not a total idiot. Here's an example to help you along, right? I had a young man. Again, I intend to employ juniors because that's if I have to pay them, and I don't want to pay them top dollar. I don't want to pay them more than I pay me, right? So you employ juniors, and I had someone come to work with me. You know, so I think about 3 days in, so I'm like, okay, we're going to go and do some leaflet drops on the high street, right? So we have to walk the street. He said something like, "Oh, I'm going for another job interview. I can't come with you." Right. What do you say to that person, Elaine? And you know, and Michael and Tracy? What do you say to someone who says to you, "Your job's not that important to me. I have another interview to go to"?
Then I'll see you. Go to the unemployment line. Here's your paperwork. Go.
It's now you see what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not going to randomly fire someone who's good. You know, but there's some behaviors that's an attitude problem. The way I say it. That's disrespectful. You know, they could not have said. They could have said anything. My mom is ill. My cat's ill. And I might have said, okay, I understand. But to say your job's not that important. I'm trying to get another job while I'm looking at you. I'm just like, nah, you're fired. It's all right. Do it or leave. They didn't do it. They left.
Well, you know, that's a calm, and I think Calm really should speak because he's been waiting.
Yeah. No, it's all yours, Mr. Calm.
Yeah.
Go, Michael. The mic is yours. Please share with us.
I've got a question for you.
Go for it.
And that will be in regards to all these applications that all these applications that you're talking about. Um, it seems like, people go into the office, etc. What about people that don't go into the office? How are they affected? I mean, how are they managed from a PM, project management, or even people's management point of view? Work from home people.
Great question, my friend. Great question. Go on, Elaine. The mic is yours.
Yeah, the work from home people are at a disadvantage because I think people believe out of sight, out of mind. We can't track you, so you're probably not doing anything. And so, what companies have started to do is like implement programs where they watch how many keystrokes, what pages, what sites did you click on your PC. They're watching your account to see where you're going, what are you typing, how fast are you typing? Are you engaged? And if there's a long period of nothing, then they say, well, nothing means you're not doing anything. What I do, I print out my stuff and I like to mark it up and then go back and do the work. Well, they consider those blank periods as you not doing anything. People who work from home, they're lonely. They're not only lonely, they're alone because they don't get to get that walk to the next cubicle and say, hey, how you doing, how was your Christmas party, blah blah blah, have a cup of coffee together. They're basically in doing the work. They do more work than the people who are in the office, I would have to say.
I agree with you on that one. Tracy, do you have a thought on that topic? To work from
Before
home.
that response, I'd like to repeat what Kenny said in the comments. Elaine is good. Elaine is really good.
Thank
She's
you.
Really, she really
I
is.
totally agree to that. Okay, and I want to add something quickly to the discussion. That's why for a small or medium business that does not have a complete employment manual or anything like a company culture drafted out by a professional, legal professional, one sentence is very, very useful. The company reserves all the rights for the final interpretation all the time. This is from the employment perspective. And Michael mentioned something earlier, and also Elaine said that. I agree to that. And also, I like to say, behind any behaviors, there's a human. Always try to find out why. I think that's the beginning of a solution. Thank you.
Exactly.
I think that we love that, Tracy. Go on, please, Elaine.
That's true. Well, you know what? No, at the end of the day, you don't know what someone is dealing with. They go home. Maybe there's an abusive partner. Even men get abused. I know you don't think it happens, but
they do. Of course, they do. They do.
Get mentally abused. They go home. They think they're going home to a loving partner with dinner cooked. There's no dinner and nobody's there. Is that loneliness. Then they come back to the workplace and they come back angry, feeling some kind of way. And you say something with a little bit of an attitude, and next thing you know, it escalates because somebody's feeling they're not getting the life they deserve. They're not getting they didn't get the promotion. Somebody else who has less education, less certifications, less degrees got the promotion. It's like, well, what the hell's going on here? So in the workplace, there's a lot of dynamics. And as the project manager, as the team lead, as the business manager, you have to be like almost like a wizard and think about what could possibly be going on. And you don't want to keep it to the workplace, but the person comes with the garbage from home, with their kid that ran away, with their daughter that's running out with some band dude she met down the street. It's a whole lot of crap going on. And you expect this person to come to you totally fully engaged, and they're coming to you with half of their brain at home dealing with nonsense.
Yeah, obviously it's worse when a company environment has the whole to politics, that office politics, that just makes it harder, right? Tracy, I think you made some very important points there, which is that even small businesses have to get their policies drafted by professionals. I did. My problem was as soon as you write the policies, they're almost obsolete. I wrote policies, I wrote handbooks. I had that line in there, Tracy. The company reserves the right to change your responsibilities to fit our needs. And as a reserve the right to fire you. Michael, I said, I'll respond to your comment, your question. I think this conversation around the human connection is at the heart of managing remote workers. Elaine, in case you're wondering why I waffle so much about this topic, you're in trouble, right? I'm a psychologist.
You're a waffler, that's why you waffle.
I spent years I'm a business psychologist. I've done leadership training, management training. I've trained people.
Oh,
So,
you're using us for your research. Look at that.
I got the books. So I learned a lot about this
He's
topic.
A smart waffler, that's what he is.
I know what we're meant to do, right? I think that if we build a human connection with our home-based employees, then we lose that fear that Elaine talked about, that doubt, that are they working? Aren't they working? But we don't build those connections really. That's why we manage out of what Elaine mentioned earlier, right? Out of sight. We manage by apparent effort. We want to see you in the office shifting papers around, typing nothing, typing emails. Because we think, they're being busy, so they must be working. Whereas we need to find better ways to get to know our team, to know everyone on the level. That way we're not afraid, we're not doubting, we're not questioning. The question for you, Elaine, is how do we build that trust? How do we build that human connection?
Well, Kenneth said he doesn't need training, but everybody needs training. I think he's joking when he says that, because in order to improve, right? If he doesn't need training, that means he's not going to do AI training. You're not going to do AI training. You're going to be behind. You're going to be so far behind. Everybody's going to be able to quickly get a report out, and you'll be still typing it and fixing mistakes that you make. And so I think the best approach is to make sure you're doing training, make sure that you are doing certifications that help you improve yourself and show to others that you're improving yourself. It doesn't mean you have to go and get a PhD. I would love a PhD, but I don't think that would help me, because then I would want another PhD and another one. It never stops. So at what point, and what is enough? When is enough enough? You have to do the training. You have to get yourself to the point where you care about the people you work with. Annie, you say it's about the corporation, your business, and you. But if you cannot use your power to then say to people, I want you to do X, Y, and Z for me, and if you don't, I'm going to fire you. And that's what's happening in some workplace. The person may not say, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, which might be like a sexual thing or whatever, but they tend to be mean, negative, say things that make the person feel less than. Oh, your hair is different today. Oh, how do you comb that hair? It looks so difficult. Or, just your skin looks so soft. Can I touch it? I had a woman in a restaurant walk up to me and just start rubbing on me. I just blinked my eyes. I didn't know if to hit her. I didn't want to hit her because I martial arts.
Try not to.
I want to hit her. I was just like, people will do craziest things. And so, all I can say is you have to know how to engage with people. You have to care. If you don't care about people, you should not be working with people. You cannot lead people. If you can't lead people and it's all about you, you should not be working saying that you're a leader. You're not a leader. You're a dictator.
I'm guilty as charged.
No, I'm not meaning you. I mean,
it's all right. It's fine. It's like it's fine. And I say I'm not as bad as I could be. I'm not as good as I could be either. Because I know that's the truth. Like you say, many of us can always learn more, right? I
Yeah.
think a lot of this, it's being honest with ourselves, but our team have to be honest with themselves too. Because they have to learn and develop as well. They have to improve as they go along, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, there's stagnation, and stagnation, no one wins, right?
Did we
Let's
answer Com's question? Did we answer his question?
Calm. Did we answer your question? He's thinking. We said a lot of different things, right?
Oh,
He'll
yeah.
come back. He'll come back in a second, right?
Okay.
But I think it comes down to the care that you mentioned just now, Elaine. And we'll all have to care. And sometimes I talk, in care to the extreme. You have to love the company. You have to love yourself, love the company, love the customers. Without that, without, if you don't care, then nothing works. In any project, I think you have to genuinely care and care for your teammates as well, because what you don't do when you should, someone else has to do. That's not care. That's not, that's disrespecting your team. I say we have to genuinely be the people who put it all in.
Mhm.
Yes, we have problems, but we have to bring the best of us.
Mhm.
Or better still, my friend, solve the problem. Deal with your problem. If you're traumatized by your trauma when you were a kid, deal with your trauma. Go and get therapy. Seriously, if your relationship at home is not what it should be, fix it. Go and get couples therapy. Do
Some people
something.
don't know how to. They're a victim, and they allow themselves to be walked upon. Some people cannot stop the negative stuff that happens in their life, and it spirals. One thing happens, then the next, and the next, and you're like, how the hell can you live like that with so much going wrong all the time? They draw bad energy to themselves,
Mm.
and then it feeds off of them, and then negative people see them as targets and target them.
And I
I
think the word
mean,
you use, spiral. It's spiral. It never ending a circle of doom, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't want anybody on this call to listen, or those who listen to the recording, and feel hopeless.
Mm.
There's so much hope out there. There's a woman called the crappy childhood fairy, and she talks about the crappy things that happened in your childhood that led to you being where you are now. And she is so good. I mean, I started to realize what it is to have somebody in your family that always picking on you, and what that behavior was really all about.
The crappy childhood fairy. I'll try and put that in the comments. And my screen has frozen. Maybe my screen's frozen. No, it's all right. I'm all right for now. Okay.
I'll get the link to everybody, just so you know, in case you're getting ready to wrap up. I created a workbook for everybody. It's called the Toxicity Identification and Correction Workbook. I created it for you using
Yeah.
AI, and I'm going to send it to Emmy, and he can I'm sorry, and yeah, he can put that on the website for everybody as something for you to work on and get better. Or if you're perfect, then you're perfect.
No one's perfect, Elaine. No one's perfect, right? Mr.
Sorry
Khan,
about that,
apart from
Elaine. I
you.
got kicked out. I got
Yes.
kicked out. That's a function of this program that we're using. It kicks me out every once in a while.
Um,
Um, so yeah, when people are working from home, you don't need to do a lot of people management. You do need to do a lot of project management. And I was
Mm,
thinking that would be a lot more efficient for a company, because then they don't have to spend so much time hiring a lot more HR people to regulate the people management aspect of projects and people management.
mm,
Uh, so I was wondering what you thought about that. I know you had the idea that you have the concept that there is a disadvantage in terms of human interface, but in terms of for the company, it's not about human interface. It's about project interface. How often are you interfacing in the project and actually getting the work done? As you insinuated, the people who are working from home get more work done than those that are working at work. And I think that's a big advantage a big advantage for people who are working from home. They can actually do that. I suppose, and then they can handle all their other uh, what do you call it, issues, people management issues, based on them being clocked out and not at work when they're doing that. What do you think about that?
Well, some managers, they're okay until their manager says, "What's going on with your team?" Then all of a sudden they become kind of paranoid, and then they start to micromanage their team because it's like if they don't want to get fired, they can get fired because their team didn't do something right. So I understand what you're saying is that, but I don't think HR does that much. HR, believe it or not, their purpose is to work for the company. Their purpose is not to, if you have a dispute with your manager, that HR, they pretend to get involved, but they're really there to protect the interests of the company.
Yeah,
All right.
agreed.
So
Mhm.
HR, we don't need 50 HR individuals in a company because all they help with onboarding, they help with maybe doing the training, the ongoing training of harassment. Um, what's that ergonomic training? This is depending on your industry, there's certain training that people should do so that if they want to sue, the company can say they can't sue because we did the training and they should have known. All that training is to protect the company's interests so that when somebody comes back and wants to sue, this company can say, no, no, no. They did the training. They knew they should have had the right chair and the right height. So their neck is messed up. That's their problem.
Oh, okay. That's a good point. So that guy who made the comment about him not having to do the training, I guess that was his angle.
He feels he doesn't need the training until he needs the training. And sometime when you really need it, it's not available to you.
Mm.
Some training, some positions you have to do certain training, and if you don't do it, your job is in jeopardy.
But I also consider the training is job security. That's what it's all about. Um, it's not. It's not about the company wanting to fire any. It's about the company wanting to keep you, pretty much. That's what the company is interested in, and that's why they train you because they
I,
can't go and hire any, how do you call it, Nick and Harry or Sally and Harry in the street in order to come in and do the job. No, they need someone who has been there, who knows the company, but at the same time who has an interest in the company. And providing them with training means that they're gonna get specialized in certain skills in the company that the company requires them to know so that they can be positive contributors to the company's goals, which
I,
is
I
excellent.
agree. I agree. And I think that I pack on the certifications. So not only do I have the bachelor's, but I have the PMP and then the program management and portfolio management. The more you pack on, if a company wanted to, what they do is make you wear 4 and 5 hats at the same time. Do
Just
they give
because
you
they
four
want
and
option.
five salaries? No, but it makes it a little bit harder for them to get rid of you because you're doing so much. It's not so
Indeed.
good on the person because you're overworked, but you're doing job security by saying, I'm holding down all this work. And if you have to hire 5 people to replace me.
Now here's the problem. Yeah, because if you don't compensate those persons who have gone ahead and actually what do you call it, advance themselves on behalf of your company,
Mhm.
they're definitely gonna walk out and go work for somebody else. Then you'll have lost all that investment in these people. So it's really important to be able to do that, to be able to compensate those who have actually acquired certain skills, actually using them at work. So might as well pay them a little bit more so as to keep them around, as
But they're
opposed
not
to
going to
letting them
pay
go.
you, calm, unless you ask for it. You can get all the certifications you want and degrees, and you're being overworked. And unless you say something, nobody's going to give you more money. They're going to sit there and watch you work yourself to death, have a heart attack, the emergency services will come and take you out, take you to the morgue. That's it.
Have to
And
work until you die, and they don't care. They just
we'll
replace
replace you straight away. We'll replace you before you even know about it, right? We'll replace
you.
you.
Exactly.
Well, they can't replace sometimes, but you also think you have to be aligned with the quality that your company and your manager want. You're delivering 150%, but they really only ask for 75%. So maybe they don't care about that extra percent, but they're taking it anyway. And you get displaced. They're okay with the 75% because that's what the rest of the industry is doing. But you're over delivering, trying to hold on to your job, and the whole time you're working up yourself to a heart attack or something.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're probably thinking that you're going to be leaving sometime soon because you're overworking, which means there's a probability you're going to be, opening up your own shop, doing something else that you really want to do, and they really don't want you to move. So they're really looking forward to not paying you as much as you actually deserve, and they won't want to go ahead and actually do that until you mention something indicating that you have an interest in remaining in the company as opposed to leaving the company later on down the road. But
Yeah.
that's also a double-edged sword. You say
It-
something like that, you're indicating to them, yes, you want to leave. So you have to be prepared to leave
oh yeah, I would never make a threat
because there's a
like I'm gonna leave.
probability.
That's
There's a
that's like in a
probability that you're
marriage,
gonna.
you
Mhm.
know? Calm, isn't that like in a marriage? Your wife says, I'm gonna leave, and then you're like, you saw a cutie the other day. You're like, yeah, then you can leave. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
I do
that's
not know what kind of environments you've been in.
no. I agree with you, Elaine. Say never threaten to leave your partner unless you're deadly
No,
Me
serious.
too, Annie.
Never
Oh my
threaten.
God.
Yeah, no. Look, this is one of the pacts I made with my wife on day one. No, we can never threaten to leave, and we can't leave because we have kids. No. So that was that. So that's why I laughed, the irony of it. So, but there's a truth there.
Well, there goes the dictator, LA. There goes the dictator.
no, but
It's been 35 years, 33 years and more since that
Oh,
day.
23 years dictating. Wow, that's more
It's
than
not
most presidents.
dictating. We both agreed, and we both have to make it work every day. I think there's something in there in this conversation. I think also in any work employee situation, any work people situation, right, where you have to be committed to the organization. Of course, the human connection, I know, is what we're talking about today. But if you're not committed to the organization, then maybe committed to yourself too. Otherwise, it's gonna, as soon as the wind blows, when I see that new employee who could replace you, maybe, if I really think they're gonna add more to my company, you're gone. I'll find a way.
It's like those dictator presidents. Oh, that one
It's not dictator. It's
is a
my
threat.
business.
Fire him.
My business matters the most. My business is the most important thing, and the entity must survive. Apart from the entity, I must survive. The only person that
Well,
must not survive
I like
is
your
the
gospel.
employee. You know. But if you're invaluable, then you will survive. If I need to see, maybe this is the point, Michael. Employees, the team have to make themselves invaluable. The training helps, the personality helps, the commitment helps, the genuine buying into what we're trying to do here helps. Someone asked me one time, what would it take to stay employed in your company? And people give you all sorts of crazy answers. More training, doing overtime, doing this, doing that. I'm like, it took me a couple of days, and I said I missed my chance in the event. Afterwards, I thought of it, and I thought, really, it has to be the person who is so good, I can never get rid of them. So you have to be better than me, better than the rest of the team, and more. That makes you invaluable. That makes you untouchable. Well, so now you think what that means to you, Michael, and to people in the audience, right?
It
Now,
means that
seriously,
when that person opens up his own business, I'm going to be hiring him to come and work with me.
that's fine. They
part-
cannot do their own business, but if they just want to steal my idea and think I'm not going to work out in this company, but I'm going to do it better in my company, it doesn't work. It never works. Now, how you behave in one place, how you can behave in the next, even in your company. If you're half-hearted, you be half-hearted everywhere. Trust me. I don't fear people my idea. I fear them being better than me, Michael. That's what scares me. When they're better than me, I'm like, we have
It's
a
all
problem.
about the competition, right?
It's not competition. They're building my empire, Michael. Don't forget. No, you're missing don't miss the point. Employees build my empire. And my empire is that's it. That's the goal, right? 7 customers.
Yeah, but it becomes a problem when they start building their own empire.
Build your own empire.
Which looks like your empire.
Yes, but no, alas.
Soon enough, your people are gonna start moving to their empire because it's
in which
better.
case it means that they are better, which is fine. I can't complain with that, right? I can't complain, can I, Elaine? That's life, right?
Okay,
No,
so I'm going to say something.
It's only natural to complain. I mean, good God,
I can't
why
complain.
would you complain?
Elaine,
You're being human.
on. Let Elaine speak, and let Elaine speak.
So calm, and I just want you to know that most people don't want to have a business. So to think that somebody working for you is now going to say, I got all the secrets, start my own business, they'll fail on day one because most people don't have what it takes. Most people will not. I'll stay up all night until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning to get a campaign set to go. Most people be like, oh my God, I can't do this, too much. They can't do it. Very few people can have the staying power. So I put stuff out there and I don't worry about it because by the time I put it out there, I'm working on something else. So somebody steals that. And then when they put it out there, it's old stuff because I'm now on something else. So,
Wow.
I totally
amazing, Elaine.
I totally agree with you.
What did you say? What did you say, Com?
Oh, I said that you're certainly amazing, Elaine.
You have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to keep going. It's like running, producing, putting it out. Because somebody is always at your heels trying to steal your stuff because they can't come up with their own original ideas.
Wow.
The one thing they can't the one thing they can't steal is your passion for your clients.
Yes,
your love.
the passion,
Wow.
the intensity.
Yes.
Yeah. And the crazy jokes. And the jokes.
your personality they can't steal, Mr. Marco. Let's do some comments. Listen, I say our friends are missing some amazing comments I think we want to get through before we start beginning to go. So we have to start going soon. Tracy says, great point, Elaine. It's true. No, that's an amazing point, Elaine. Now, look, we're here again in 2 weeks' time, Elaine, I think. Yes? No?
Excuse me?
We're here again in 2 weeks' time, right?
If you guys want me and you have a topic you want to discuss, I don't think this topic should be at the end of the week. I think it should be somewhere in the middle so people can go back to work fired up and then say, hey, Mr. Manager, I want a raise or I'm leaving. And like, where did that come from? I have motivated people that their husbands are like, I don't want her around you anymore. or they go to work and they're fired up. They're like a different person. And
where are you from?
Me? I'm originally from the Bronx, New York.
Really? Wow.
And I have my superpower is martial arts. So that it could be the martial arts stuff going on right now.
She would beat you up, as she said earlier. You thought she was joking.
I do beat people up. I do say sorry though. After I hit guys, I usually say I'm sorry.
What about the girls? What do you say to them?
Women, I do. I would never walk up to a woman in the street and hit her. But if she's on the mat, like if we're sparring, yeah, I wouldn't hit her in the face.
Okay, you say sorry.
This conversation's gone way left.
In practice, you have to hit people, Michael. You have to hit. My son does MMA practice, and he always comes back from his practice. Someone's been hitting him. He's like, I'm like, why do you hit them back? He's like, no. They're young, they're small. You don't feel it. You don't feel it. When you're sparring, somebody hits you really hard, you don't feel it because you're bracing for it. It feels good, actually. You're like, ugh. Because you sound like my son all over. I'm building the muscle. I'm building, building something or another to be able to take it when it's done in seriousness.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Jeremy, I love your point. You're always training your replacement either way. Yes, either the replacement in my company or in there or somewhere else. I agree, totally, right? But again, I will always say this point when it comes to these conversations, Jeremy. You're never going to get paid more than you're willing you're willing to work for today. Don't expect to get paid more somewhere else doing what you do here today. You're only going to get paid more somewhere else when you're willing to do more than you get paid for now. Yeah, bear that in mind. That's what trading really is. Improving to get paid more. So you can do more, achieve more. Anyway, Tracy, I come to your point. Tracy says employment is, I guess, it's less than family ties, meaning businesses are not families. So we have to treat them as businesses, right? Employment is not a family relationship thing. Businesses are not families. I like that. We can't run our business on family ties at all. Natalie says HR is a department responsible for all human and human-related business activity. But within the UK and the US, it has a very unique perspective regarding human rights and professional conduct, and it's less practiced within HR. And throughout all sectors, as a baby nation. So as the states leaves its geopolitical and nation formation toddlerhood, it should start developing policies that are coherent, cohesive, and comprehensive. That's a lot of words, Natalie. A lot of words, right? No. Here's what I would say, Natalie. See, when I was in uni, 1995 to be exact, I had a dream. The dream was I want to be in personnel. You remember personnel, Elaine?
Yeah, I remember personnel.
I
They never helped me. They never helped me.
Remember it.
When the manager was abusing me, they never helped me.
I had a very simple dream, which was finish my uni, get a job in personnel, do the job for 50 years, looking after staff and making staff happy, and then I can retire and die. That's my simple plan. That's what I had planned, right? My horror when I finished my degree in '98, and then realized personnel disappeared overnight to be replaced by HR. And this HR thing, I tried it. No, so I learned. I did into my master's in business psychology, mostly HR stuff. Then I realized HR is management, not about employees, as Elaine said earlier. HR looks after the business. I just felt corrupt. I felt like a cheat. That's why I never did HR as a profession. And also HR in those days used to be pretty women, short skirts, doing the managers, the leaders' bidding. Obviously, I can't wear short skirts. I'm not a woman either, so that was that. So I had to go into psychology, and I said, business psychology properly, and that's why I'm where I am today. That's where I am today. HR is a corrupt profession.
Don't forget to shave your legs too.
I'm not doing that. Tracy says, always stay professional. So we should. So we should.
Are you saying that women had to wear short skirts?
They do here, yeah, in the UK. And the HR women, the top ones, is about being pretty and being dressed in a way that's appealing.
They don't think short skirts is enticing?
They're trying to entice the leaders, not the not the employees.
It's for the business.
Yes. Yeah. There are many words we could use, Elaine, but I'll leave that for now. Look, we'll discuss how we move forward, Elaine. If I move to earlier,
not for home, it's for business.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, just so you know,
I want to say again, I created a workbook for you guys, and it's a toxicity identification and correction workbook for the workplace, so you can identify what the degree of your behavior, and then work on improving it. Or if you like where you are, stay right there. If you're doing things and making other people's lives a living hell, I mean, you can continue that, but I don't think that's something most people aspire to. So I have this workbook. I'll send it to Annie, and he can post it on his
Yeah.
site for everybody.
No, I'll
Is
put
it
it in the
something you can
comments.
find on Amazon?
No, she created it herself. What do you mean? Can you find it on Amazon? You know, should Elaine write a book? Michael, is that what you're asking? Yes, she should. I
It's
agree.
free. Well, I have other stuff. I have other stuff out there. I do training in public speaking. I've won an award for humorous speaking contest, which was funny. The title was "Asking God to Make Me Taller." It was hilarious. Hilarious.
Humor. I want to read that one.
No, it's a recording. I'll send it to Annie. It's hilarious.
Let's transcribe it into some sort of small book. That's what Michael's saying. You know, Michael, like you tell her, everyone most of my friends are author people, Elaine, all of them. You know, pretty much. They're writing books somehow. But you are writing 3 books.
Yeah,
no, you haven't told that bit.
Yeah, I have an AI and project management. I have funeral planning, and I have something else too. I can't remember. I do so much. Last year, I learned to play violin. That was phenomenal. Yeah,
Oh.
I do a lot.
Do you own a violin?
Yeah, I have a violin. I have a recording of my recital. I'll send you guys that too. You can laugh. You can laugh at me. I look like a little kid struggling.
We'll play that next. I'll play that next in our next event. Because we'll try to find it today. We just didn't find it in time.
Well, you know, you can critique the struggles that.
No, just laugh. No, we were enjoying, your performance. So let's leave it.
Yes. We will love to critique.
No
laugh
critique.
with me. That's okay.
Laugh. We'll laugh with you. I mean, everyone starts.
Okay.
Now, Kenny says, Elaine, you're such a gem of a lady, a human being, and a friend of mine, and to millions who shares her goodness with others for the betterment of humankind. That's Elaine for you, right? I don't bring friends to you who are not special. Elaine's definitely one of those unique people. Cold hard truth, says Jeremy, Elaine Jackson, and on over deliver, you get no return. It's true. And Elaine made a very important point, which is very easy to miss in the scheme of things. She said, that when we talk about training, she said that extra 25%, that extra training that you're going to do, it helps you. It's not going to help the business because training doesn't really improve performance that much. Has anyone ever noticed?
It does.
You might get 10%. Look, if you are at the top of your profession, Elaine, stop. Go back a second. Hold on for a second, right? Hear me out. Right. People who say, I need to get more training before I start doing that. Right? If I start doing whatever it is, their business, their idea, writing a book, whatever, right? And say, I need to learn more. You don't. It's overdoing it for no return. It's not going to make you suddenly remarkable because you know what you know already. You know enough to do what you have to do, but you can always improve. You're only going to improve by margins, not by exponential amounts. That's my point to you. God, I'll let you speak now. Please feel free.
I don't know. As a Black woman living in the United States, I think when I see somebody's profile and they have like 2 PhDs and a master's in psychology, and I'm like, wow. It's like, wow, I'm like excited,
Really?
Yeah. And I'm not saying that somebody just has their name on LinkedIn and they have no degree.
I tell you what, Annie thinks when I see that, Elaine, I think hopefully you're not African who's just a forever learner.
Yeah, but
Michael knows exactly what I just said. He knows what I mean.
The fact that I can and someone else can't gives me the one step up. That's all I'm saying. I need to be. I'm only 5'1", so I need a step up. That's what I have to say.
Elaine, you and I need an honorary PhD. That's what we need. Honorary doctorate. That's what we
No,
both
I
need.
need people to
All
say,
that
"Oh my God, she's 6 feet tall. Oh my God, she's
it's
so
not gonna
tall."
happen, Elaine. You're now, right? Look, Kenny explains why Kenny is the way he is.
5'1". Oh my god.
That is pretty tiny, right? I'm 6'2", so I was like, Elaine.
Oh my God, that's not fair.
Where's Elaine? She's over
I
there.
ain't
So
saying what I am.
Michael's pretty tall too. So
Everybody's
anyway, let's go through Kenny. Kenny says, I'm currently employment. He's been in his job for
37 years.
37 years. That's why Kenny doesn't need any more training. He knows how the systems work. He designed the system now. He's used AI for years. I know Kenny's been doing great things for years. So don't beat him up for saying he doesn't need. But of course, it will need training here every so often on new things, right? But Kenny knows his role inside out. William, welcome, my friend. If you haven't been to William's live events, you're missing something. So do connect with him and go along to his live shows. He did a show on all his cousins recently. Literally brought them on one after the other. Come and talk to him. That's a show with difference, right? Welcome, William. And then Natalie says, HR within the UK is an industry in itself. Recent changes within HR means it's almost defunct now. Again, I go back to it's a people issue, Elaine. People they must want to give us what we need for us to give them what they need. That's my take. Of course, in a glorious world, the company looks after you. In a big business, you can still expect that sort of rubbish. In a small business, we don't have redundancy of money or of love. We have love for those who do for us.
I think Kenny is someone that we should have on the call to talk about. How did you last 37 years? Did anyone ever ghost you, harass you, stab you in the back, accuse you of things, take your material, never listen to you? I mean, if he says no, how is that? How did he manage that? Did he just luck out on the job where everybody loved him the whole time?
I would love to know.
That? Yeah.
Kenny, let's talk, Kenny. Kenny goes on music shows. So Kenny would do his poetry recitals. And I'm sure I've seen him on some serious lives. So Kenny, let's talk. Let's get you on our show.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what your trick is. We can all learn from you, clearly, Kenny. But
Kenny's probably saying, be like the fly on the wall.
Some people they stay quiet and they yes boss, yes.
No, that's not Kenny's in charge.
It's kind of like they're so quiet, they're so invisible.
I'd like to know.
They're there, but they're not there.
Because my mother worked on Wall Street and she came home crying every day. And the thing is, I want to say one last thing before we sign off, is that sometimes your parents will give you advice on how to hold on to your job. And I think you need to measure, it may have worked for them then, but it may not work for you now. My mom was like, it doesn't matter. The point is you come home and you have a check, even if you cry every day. And I adopted, okay, it's all right to be abused in the workplace as long as you come home with a salary. And that's wrong. You have to say, don't take it. Don't let that happen to you. Because your mother and your father did that during that time doesn't mean you have to do that now. That we have more laws and things in place to prevent that or to stop that.
I agree entirely. Yes, look, for years,
how long
I was
did that
traumatized.
Go ahead.
For years, I was traumatized by working for people, right? Literally, I would go to work nervous. I was just literally afraid every day. What was I afraid of? People, other people, my colleagues, the management, what they're going to do to me today. I haven't hated the commute. I'm saying, but one day I just thought, it's not worth sticking at this for the money. So that's when I started my own
6'3" guy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that's
it has nothing to do with size.
Exactly.
The negative behavior when somebody looks at you. So let me give you an idea. You come into the office and they look at their watch. You're on time, but they're looking like they're keeping time. She came in at 8:57. Oh, she came in at 8:00. Keeping watch, keeping tabs. It has nothing to do with size. But I believe if my husband was a bully kind of a guy and he made sure he came to the office to bring me lunch and says, "Hey, anybody bothering you today?" That all of that nonsense would have stopped. Because they realize, hey, she have her man coming here and he might beat us up, so let's not do that.
They stop beating them up, Elaine. You can't keep you can't keep beating them up.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I feel I did not have. I feel that when women are vulnerable, when people are vulnerable, that's a lot of times when a lot of these things happen, and you don't have a backup.
Yeah,
You don't have any backup.
I agree. You know what? There was one saying. The reason I say what I say, Michael, is because my last job before I left, essentially, it was my worst nightmare. And my thing was, I don't want to work for a big company. I don't want to be just a number. I want to be I want to be someone who does amazing things, who actually has impact. And eventually, my charity sold me to this big charity because here I was working on contracts, and here, if you're working on a contract for more than 2 years, when the contract goes, you have to go with it, right? So I had to go with the contract. Suddenly, I found myself commuting to central London, my worst nightmare. Being in a big company where I was just a faceless number, and there was just people who didn't know who I was or why, right? And and literally, they were just. Let me put it this way. Eventually, they created a rule. The rule was that every person of color, every Black and Asian person has to be fired. No good reason. The white ones could stay. The Black ones had to go. So I saw it coming. When I say I was nervous, I saw this coming. I jumped. I was off. And my friends who stayed, they all got fired. They've all left. Right. I'm saying that's the sort of thing that it messes with you psychologically, and that's what I do now. I'm so happy now that I got the joy of doing what I want when I want. No one. My customers they can complain. I can take it and I can fix things for them. I can't fix things for people who just hate you because of who you are, your skin color, or whatever else, right? Let's not get too serious. As Kenny says, Elaine's so hilarious. She definitely is. Is she serious? Very, Kenny. Elaine doesn't joke, really. For me to get her here, I had to understand how serious she is, but she's also clearly, she's funny. So that's a good thing, right? Jeremy, well said. Kenny is perfectly himself and a friend. Kenny, will say that about you, my friend. Thank you so much. And Jay says there aren't any sets of expectations. Employee manuals don't exist these days. They should, Jay. There's no excuse. Without the let me stop for a second. I created my manuals because I wanted my employees to do things my way, a certain way, the Global.Media way. Did they do it, Jay? No. Did they even read my manuals? No, probably not. But that's why I fired them. This is no guidance for mitigation or remediation.
There wasn't any single person that did it that actually came back to you at all. A single person, and just one of all the people that you hired.
They did. Look, so people did read my stuff. Don't get me wrong. I tell you what it is. We've undergone a generational shift, which you have to accept. The way Elaine and I and you, Michael, were as employees in our younger days is not how employees are today. When people talk about this Gen Z issue, it's a thing. They have different expectations. So for me, they had things about, I can change that. I can do that differently. And you're like, it's written down. Just follow the steps, please. And they're like, no need to follow the steps. And you're thinking, I'm going to fire you. Anyway, show me it works better than what I wrote down. That's all I want. Show me it works better, and then I'll change my handbook. They couldn't show me, Michael, because there was people were trying to take shortcuts these days, which freaks me out, and then I get really annoyed. That's a simple explanation for you. Yeah. Tracy, you seem to be the same as Elaine. Now, you'd be in jail. No, you won't. No, you won't. You will not. You will not, Tracy. Definitely not. You're a person than it sounds. I know you're a lovely person, right? I'm not nibbling your cheesecake, Kenny. I've got my own for tomorrow. That's cool, right?
So what you just suggested, Annie, is you indicated that the Gen Z students or Gen Z what do you call it, training that came out of high school
Yes.
are not are not the type of workers that
Yes.
you were anticipating. They
Yes.
have changed. What's come
Yes.
out is some are people that are more independent, more into themselves as opposed to being into a group or the company, etc., etc.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we've actually gone away from um, is it the Rothschild, the prescription that the Rothschild was actually trying to implement, where he wanted just workers instead of thinkers? So you don't
So
want thinkers, you want workers.
I want thinkers who create solutions, whereas what we have are shirkers who try and shortcut the system.
Mhm.
That's very interesting. You should coin that.
I should. I'll watch a replay
Yeah,
later.
you make a lot of money,
You know,
and you
I'm
can
just
say
I'm
that
being
you
honest.
said it on
You know,
behalf of on Elaine's show, so that she can get popular too.
I hear you. I'm being honest. One was going. It's always good to sharpen the saw, says Tracy. Training should be ongoing. It has to be, right? I mean, Len said that earlier. It has to be ongoing. You know, it can't. No one knows everything, and so we always learn more. We're almost done. So it's true. I just get a friend. I just get in a frenzy. But it's getting better. Says Kenny. Sorry, I'm trying to see what he'll say. No, that's Jeremy saying. No, it's like getting into a frenzy, but it's getting better. I wonder what that is, right? Here's what it is. Tell everyone. You told me that too. Remember? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so you can get into a frenzy. I don't think I've missed anything else on anyone's comments. Adam, I don't think. Let me make sure. So Annie says gross misconduct is a sackable offence and implied that when all policy and procedure safety, safeguarding, duty of care, bullying, puts others at risk, etc. And you say there's a door, shut it on your way out. Yes, exactly, Annie. You know, if I think you've been so egregious, so against my beliefs, my policies, my values, which just means that you disrespected me, my customers, my business. You're gone. Shut the door on your way out. No, so that's all I tell them. Now, pick up your coats, don't come back. That's the way I say it, right? You know, it's our get out clause. It really is. You know, as employees, Elaine, you can say, please feel free.
Well, I think I want to do a shameless plug for some of my services. Is that okay?
Go for it, please. No, please do, please do.
Okay. So for those of you that want to get into project management, you may be thinking, "Oh my God, this stuff is so complicated and so detailed." It isn't. If you're a person that likes detail, like things done right as a project manager, as someone who's not in project management, we have a program called doublemasters.com. Doublemasters.com has a website. I'm one of their approved trainers. And we cover the project management by doing an 8-hour project. You can drag it out for a month if you'd like. But it's a project where it'll ask you questions and you read the scenario and then you make a decision. I think it's best for large groups to decide, well, let's do this as a team. Let's talk about project management. Let's talk about the different stakeholders. And something you'll find is your biases or your behaviors against certain people. I found out that people who talk slow, I found myself saying, oh my God, get to the point. Oh, spit it out. Like, oh my God, and never was ashamed of myself realizing that I did that. I don't really outwardly do it, but I think my body language, facial expressions, and all is like, oh my God, please kill me now. So the thing is, you start to learn your behaviors, and then you learn, okay, I've got to correct that. Because if somebody has a stuttering something, you should be patient with that person. They have problems, speech problems, and you're working on the same project. You shouldn't ostracize that person or put them down because they have impediments. And so by working through this doublemasters.com project will actually give you an opportunity to see where you fail as a manager and where you can do better.
Yeah,
So
I
give me
like
a
that.
call if you're interested in a group event.
For
That sounds
sure.
great.
For sure. Elaine has many other things that she can help us with, I assure you. But I've written down, Elaine, inclusion in project management. I think that could be a topic in itself, right? How do we, what are our
Yeah,
biases, and then how do we
yeah,
improve?
yeah, yeah.
So from my conversation today, I think that I don't know whether with everything was said as out of the question number 3 on my list, which is how can project leaders balance professional boundaries and authentic relationship building how can project leaders balance professional boundaries with authentic relationship building? And that's something
Okay.
that
That can work. That can work too. But I think people need to recognize that they have an issue. Some people, they got a pimple on their face, but they won't say, oh, that's not a pimple.
it's not a
They
problem.
might ignore it. They want to pretend it's not there until it becomes something crazy. Then they want to address it as if it were a pimple, but then it's no longer a pimple. It's much bigger.
Yeah.
Much.
It's a borrow now. It's a borrow now. Yeah, that's the last. That's a different problem altogether. And Annie, I see. So again, my team know that if I have to pull my team up for not doing the job that we're supposed to, then it's not personal. It's professional. Even if I had the table pulled up for not doing my job, which is rare, I do not take it personally as it's my job role. I think I'm seeing, as you're saying, Annie, that it's a two-way street. This project management. It's not just it's not just the leaders. The team must have some buy-in, some skin in the game, some commitment to deliver excellence.
And be
Must
willing to be led. And be
Yes,
willing to be led. You can't have everybody leading the team, everybody running and making the decision. You have to be willing to be led.
yeah, I agree with that entirely. Again, this conversation I want to have sometime, maybe whether it's this room or one of my other rooms. Is are you a great leader or follower? Because I think what you just said just now, Elaine, I think we have to be great followers to become great leaders. It's a perspective, my friends. You might agree with me, you might not. Kenny's paying homage again. Elaine's good. She's real good. Yeah, she is. We all fall short.
You said that because I'm short. Yeah.
We all fall short of awesome sometimes, but the choice to be awesome is all the time. And that's a quote. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that for sure. I'm writing a quotes book, by the way, my friends. So that's why I love quotes. I love sayings that make things simple, right? Kenny says, "I'm the boss." You are. No, you are. No, you are the boss, Kenny. You really are, right? No, so that's why you can be as free as you are, as you want to be. This is my last one, I think. Carla, thank you. I'm sure Carla is the one who joins our show with Stanley Green, Power Thinking. I hear with Carla Brown. Hopefully it's you, Carla. So crossing boundaries sometimes muddies the waters. It really does. That's what we'll take away from today, my friends. Let's at least hold on to that, right? And it says lead by example, whether in art or out of work. Otherwise, boundaries are mistaken. Isn't that the truth, right? And so I'll do you the honor you deserve, Tracy. So it's her statement earlier about after hours. She states that it's a mistake. She doesn't agree that after hours is off limits. No, after hours has to be. It's who we are. This is what it comes down to, right? It's who we are. We have to be the person that we want, the leader we want to be. the leader our company needs us to be, the leader our team needs us to be. Not, sometime with this, other times with that. Consistency, but that comes from being that person. You're not acting a role, you are being a leader. Being a leader means being a leader. I know what that means. I wonder what it means to you, Elaine. I wonder.
Being a leader is being not holding back, and being okay that somebody calls you out on what you do, being open to change, to growth, to improvement, instead of saying not me, it's all you're the problem. And many times the leader is the problem. And then they fire people because they think, I'm just going to wait till I get people on my team that are all like me. And they just bring people on and fire them, and bring them on and fire them. Like, how long are you going to keep doing that? At Mr. Any.
It's true. It's true. I smile. Like I said, I'm trying to find someone who's better than me. That's what I'm looking for, really. And then it's not on me,
But then you'll be mad that they're better than you. So let's.
No, I won't be mad. No, that's that. Look, Elaine, you haven't heard me say it before. I would happily work for someone who runs my company if they were better than me. I really would. No, I'm a craftsman. I have no love for being the leader. I have more love for delivering for the customers. So leave me to just deliver. And you build the organization around me, because no one's going to outwork me. No one's going to be outsmart me, because I put the effort in to be that person who is, like I say, the best one in my company, right?
Did everybody hear him? He almost slipped up. He says, nobody can outwork me. I know what he's saying.
They really can't. They can't.
Nobody can outwork me. So you and I, we're going to have a challenge here. And nobody can outwork me.
This is why we're where we are, Elaine.
3 days straight. I can stay up 3 days straight and get the job done.
This is why we are where we are, talking about this topic with our friends, Elaine. Michael, I see you're muted, my friend. Have the last word. Please feel free.
Well, I'm very interested in knowing whether any of you can actually work for AI, like work for any 2.0.
I have created some unbelievable stuff, man. Unbelievable. When I see AI go, I'm really good at prompting, and when I write the prompts and I set it to go, and I'm like, whoa. And I've told my AI, I say, I love you, and it responds back. It says, I love you too. I'm like, oh my God, who needs humans? Who needs humans when you have AI?
They lose their mind, my friends. Ignore them. Ignore them, buddy.
My AI talks back to me, writes me poetry. I'm happy.
I see a lot of these AI employees adverts, and we have got a lot of them in the UK these days, right? I've got 20 AI employees. I'm thinking, what the hell does that mean? You have 20 AI agents? Yes, but they're programs, right? They're part of the AI tool. They're not real humans. So Michael, they terrify me. I use AI, of course I do. I haven't come across as if I don't like AI. We use AI all day. This is AI we're using now, right? It wouldn't work otherwise. Without some sort of advanced artificial intelligence to moderate our speech across time, across distance, across everything, right?
So does that mean that if there was really an any 2.0, whether it's AI or human, and it works better than you, that you'd be terrified?
Possibly, yes. And I still believe in the power of humans, human creativity.
You hear that, Ellie?
Human creation.
Yeah, but some of them, they're talking. You make a phone call, and they engage with you like a human. The way you find out is you say something crazy, like I want a pizza. I want a pizza, and and it's not pizza. Then they try to get you. That's how you know it's AI.
Oh, I know it's AI. Like when I call my bank, when I call any company, this AI chatbot thing, right? I will say, speak to an employee, speak to someone. I don't like talking to this machine. I just don't like talking to AI because they don't have the answers I want, and they're not created to solve my problem. They're created to give me a dumb answer so I can go away. So I always have to speak to someone, always. And until I speak to someone, I'm not happy. So that's just me, Michael. That's my simple answer. So if not, let me do this. Is my last throws today, my friends, for the weekend anyway. Passive aggression, unnecessary, unnamed microaggressions. Every company has them, right? And every team can be susceptible to passive aggressive behavior, right? You know, I said the relatability of this behavior is already observably catastrophic for diversity, inclusion, and equality, and legitimate human rights, such as contextually relevant, respectful honesty, so freedom of speech, freedom of thoughts, personal beliefs. I don't want your freedom of thoughts. It's my company, but I hear what you're saying. That when I'm an employee, I want all those things in place. When I'm the boss, I'm not paying you. I'm not paying you to give you the rights, right? And that's
what are your thoughts, Elaine?
Maybe this is the point I guess I'm trying to make. The theory is so good. The application is harder than it sounds. That's why you need Elaine, right? The application of this genuine process, I guess, project management processes. It's much harder than it is. You know, again, if I mention Michael's point earlier about remote management, we talked about this 30 years ago. This was going to be the way it was. That everyone was going to be doing remote work. You know, that was the idea, because we had to. There's no point going to the workplace, to the office, unless you're doing physical work that requires you to be there. Suddenly we had computers that were big enough and strong enough, powerful enough to do everything we want to do from home anyway, right? But it took COVID to make us go into remote working. Mm-hmm. And many people are not trained to manage remote workers. And Michael's point earlier about we need to focus on managing the project. You know, of course we have to manage the people too, but the projects, if we can learn how to manage projects, the deliverables, the processes, the stages, the steps, that's what we need to learn as leaders, really. Of course, we have to build relationships with those who actually have to deliver that project. Out of the office doesn't mean ignore them. Never has done, never will do. But how many of us are really trained in managing projects, Elaine?
I don't remember the percent of project managers in the world, but there's like 300,000 that are PMP certified. So there's much more out there that aren't certified. So there's a lot of project managers out there, but that doesn't mean they're all doing the right thing. Don't assume because somebody has a certification or they are project manager that they're doing the right thing. You have to vet everyone.
Indeed.
So when it comes to PMP certification, that's not the end of education. It's like as if you go in, we got PMP 1.1, and then next one is PMP 1.02, then 1.3.
Well, the CAPM is less. The CAPM is like a less invasive training than the PMP. So the CAPM, if you're looking at 1.0 and 1.2, the 1.0 would be the CAPM.
Okay. And then what about the PMP? What would PMP be?
There's the PMP, there's risk management, there's schedule management, there's portfolio management. There's a lot out there. So you have to look at what you're going to use it for and what jobs out there see that as valuable. If you go and get everything, you will have way more than the person that hires you, and they may be intimidated and not hire you. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's most likely is going to happen. You're just going to be too intimidated. You're going to hire.
Yeah, so you got to sort of play your cards, let some up. Like in my LinkedIn profile, I took some of my certifications off just to make people feel a little better. And then I bring the boxing gloves out later. You know, you can't bring all the armor out. So I know Michael needed that information to feel better for the weekend.
Is so wicked. Oh my God.
I am.
The Wicked Witch of the East. Or is it the
Oh my
west?
God, I
Which one is
am.
it? The
The
north?
wicked genius of the East,
I
right?
am Wicked Witch of the
The
East.
wicked witch.
The Wicked Witch of Massachusetts. Very good. I got it.
Honestly, no. So do no, look, my friends. As we're finished. Do connect with each other. So go to the comments and connect with Elaine as well. I will share her free guide that she's prepared for us. And but no, meet Elaine. I'm always into connecting and meeting people. Don't just connect for the sake of it. No, connect and meet. You never know where this could lead. Now, as Jay says, he had to move 500 agents from brick and mortar to remote workers within a 3-week period, and they use all forms of digital communication at the onset. Now, all the tools are there, Jay, right? All the tools are there these days. That's, as you know, even the one Elaine mentioned. People, your employers can monitor your every step in your workday. Are you typing? Are you making calls? Are you doing anything? Are you doing nothing? Are you not there? They can see it all, and I think I know of employees who've put cameras in people's houses. And people know literally, where's your workspace, and then there's a camera there looking at you, so they can observe you when they want to. Go on, Elaine, please. Feel
They
free.
even have something with the chair. People were
Mm.
putting people's books and stuff on the chair to try to get the weight right because they had some sensors on the chairs. Oh yeah.
The tech is there, my friend. It's a way to be. It's a way we have to go. Jay says COVID changed the workforce landscape completely. Jay, completely. Well, it's a change leadership. I think it changed project management as well, many other things, right? And I guess maybe made us realize the mindset is the thing. We thought the thing was the doing. Now we realize it's the thinking that's behind the doing. That's truly, get that right. And then we're halfway there. As Linda says, our role as leaders is to empower people, to empower others and our team. That is the truth. I'm sure, Elaine, you agree,
So,
right?
I agree.
so
I agree.
Elaine, if you were to also work from home, right?
Mhm.
And you go and do your taxes, can't you? And you're working from home. You said I'm using my home as a workplace.
Mhm.
Don't you get like a tax deduction for that?
You do. There's a certain square footage. They look at the square footage. I don't do that because I tend to move around. So right now I'm in another area of my house that's not an office. Then I sometimes go in the kitchen and sometimes in the dining room. So I don't have a designated office space that I can say this is my office. Don't go in there.
So your entire house is the office. So don't
Yeah, but I
understand how
can't.
you can.
But I can't use square footage of my whole house. That tax wise, that would not work. Yeah, I might get if I ever got audited, I would be in trouble. So I leave that piece off. Yeah, there's a
Oh,
lot of different things you can do to write
I
off
like
your
I
taxes.
like that. You can get in trouble just by now. By starting the process of claiming can be painful. Suddenly you leave yourself open to all sorts of craziness, right?
When you have a business, you are allowed to claim expenses, but you can't go and claim because if they ever send someone to check your house and say we're here from the IRS, and we want to see your office space, and you've been claiming office space of a certain size, they're like, this is not office space, and you get in trouble. So I try to stay within the guidelines of stuff, but I don't need any trouble. I don't want trouble. I don't like trouble. Yeah. So yeah,
I
I was
don't know.
always the person to follow the rules. Follow the rules.
Yes.
Then you won't get hit. And you won't get hit. You won't get hit with a ruler.
Let's leave it there. That's too funny. Remember those words, Mr. Calm. Remember those words, my
Thank you,
yeah.
friends.
Mrs. Tom,
Thank,
Michael. Thank you,
I'll follow the
Tracy.
rules.
Everybody that contributed.
yeah,
Thank you
and that's
so much for being here this evening. It made my Friday very enjoyable. Thank you.
thank
Thank
you,
you very much,
Natalie,
Elaine.
especially Natalie in the
Good to meet
comments,
you.
Mr. Calm, Jane. There's too many of you to mention. Linda, so thank you so much, all of you. Tracy for joining the stage. Sean, you're here.
Jeremy,
I didn't miss you, Sean. 'Cause I hate to miss
No,
anyone. Now you can
Chris,
watch the replay, Sean. For
Carla,
sure. There's Curtis here as
Natalie,
well. Right. So I invited Curtis especially, Elaine.
Elena.
Curtis talks leadership. He was talking leadership last
Hi,
night.
Curtis.
Room,
hi
Elaine.
Natalie, hi Curtis.
But
Hi,
thank you
Sean.
so much, everyone.
Thank
Jeremy as
you.
well. Thank you
Thank you,
all.
everyone. Have a good weekend.
So we'll work out when to come back next, but do connect with Elaine in the meantime. Connect with each other as well, and get and meet. Enjoy, my friends. I'll see you on Monday. Bye.
Take care.
Every
Bye.
step forward is a new beat to your drama. She's success with Global.Media.com. And celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.com.